Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Sofa. I've been gone for a while, but I'm back. I'm feeling better, and I'm back. And today I wanted to talk about a topic that has consumed my life for years, okay? And that is debt, specifically credit card debt. But honestly, any type of debt that you feel overwhelmed by or is out of your control, okay, that's what I'm talking about in this video, because I feel like nobody really talks about what debt and being in debt feels like, okay? That's not something that people really talk about. People seem to be really avoidant of that topic, like the money topic. People are very private. And so today I wanted to talk about that. When I was little, my parents did not teach me much about money. Nobody ever sat down with me and said, hey, so this is what a balance transfer is. Hey, this is what APR means. Hey, like this is what you need to have saved in your account at all times. Like nobody taught me this, okay? And I think that's really normal. I don't think most parents teach their kids how to budget, or they don't teach their kids much about money. Parents usually work to provide for their children, which is great. But looking back, I really wish somebody had taught me about money, because I feel like it would make things a lot easier for me, for the future me, which is right now. I never really took it upon myself to learn it. I didn't really understand the importance of money. You know, I didn't really care, to be honest. But growing up, I have watched my mom manage money really well. And my parents are not rich, and they have never been rich by any means. They have always had to work really hard to make the money that they're making. But even when they didn't make a lot of money, my mom was really good at managing it. And so I was always really impressed with how my mom managed money, but I was never really taught. And so when I was 18, I moved out of my parents' house, and this is when shit started for me, okay? I remember the first card that I had, it had like a $600 limit, which I still have. That was my very first credit card that I opened, and I opened it so I can build credit. Okay, that was really important to me. I was like, I need to build credit. So I opened that card, and I remember using it for a few months and paying it off, and it went fine. And then I think my second credit card, my very second card, was Discover, which Discover, oh my God, gives out diabolical balances. Like, what the hell? I think my very first card, my balance was $2,000. And I literally remember opening the mail. I was at my parents' house, I was opening the mail, and I got my Discover card in the mail. And my dad was telling me in that moment, he's like, Sophia, don't spend money on that card, because you're going to end up being in debt, and it's going to be really hard for you to pay back. And I told my dad, I was like, no, like that wouldn't happen to me. Of course, I'm not going to spend it. Don't even worry about me. And what ended up happening is that, of course, I spent that money. And the thing that nobody really warns you about is that it's all the small purchases, and they all add up. Okay, that $5 latte. Ooh, that thing at Target for $7. Ooh, you want that cute shirt, $27. All these things, they don't seem like a lot of money, but they add up. Most people, they don't go and make a $2,000 purchase. I mean, some do, okay? But for most of us, it's like these small purchases that add up. And that's why the debt sneaks up on you. It's not like you wake up one day and you're in a lot of debt, okay? It literally builds up over time. And looking back on my mindset during that time when I was using my credit cards, okay, it was like a mindset of like, ooh, like I can just pay back later. Swipe, swipe, $5, swipe, $10, swipe, swipe, swipe. Because all these numbers were small in my eyes, it seemed very digestible. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I could just pay it off later. I don't have it right now. But yeah, this is a small amount. I can pay it off later. But I would do this multiple times a day, every single day. That shit adds up. And honestly, looking back on my mindset, like that was dumb, because I was making significantly less money back then than I am right now. So I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking that I could pay that shit off. Like, no, I couldn't. But I remember going out for drinks, getting food, restaurants. I love going out. That's like my one thing that I love. I love going out to restaurants. I love getting food. I love experiencing new things, right? Like I love doing all that shit. And so I would do that so much. And it came to the point where I had to open new credit cards, because I had maxed out my 2 credit cards that I had. And then I was like, I need more credit cards. And so I opened 7 credit cards in total. That's how much I have in total right now, 7 cards, which is way too many. I really wish I hadn't opened that many. I would be perfectly okay with 2 or 3 cards at the max. It really sucks, okay, because now I don't want to close them, because obviously your credit score is going to go down. But, you know, at that time I was like, I need more. And I kept borrowing, swiping, getting stuff that I wanted, also some stuff that I needed, but mostly it was stuff that I wanted. And I was really careless about how I spent my money. I had no budget. I didn't know how much I was making per month. Yes, I was working consistently. I didn't really know how much I was making per month, what my bills were, what was going on. Like, I was just really careless with it looking back. I ignored my bank account. I really did. I ignored all my credit cards. I wouldn't even open the app to check the balance because I would pretend like it's not that bad. And honestly, you guys, at one point it started to get bad, right? Like at one point I was like, I don't really have a lot of money. And during those times, like I vividly remember being scared to look at how much I owe. Like I would be scared and I would tell my boyfriend, I was like, you know what? I don't even want to know how much I owe because it scares me. I don't want to know. Like it's just going to freak me the fuck out. And one thing that I do want to touch on is how debt affects your relationships, friendships, just in your social life in general, okay? This is such a huge problem, okay? And I think the number one cause for divorce, or one of the top causes for divorce in the US, is money. And I can definitely see why. I've definitely learned my lessons. But during that time when I was getting in a lot of debt, that was also during COVID time. And so things were a lot worse back then. You know, getting a job, it was harder. It was harder to get a job. Like I remember struggling. I was working like a $10 an hour job because that was the only thing that I could find during that time. And I got lucky that I got another job during that time because I knew somebody that like recommended me to the manager. So I started to make more money. But during that time, I was struggling a lot. And I remember my boyfriend and I having so many fights because we lived together, right? And so like our bills, we don't have joint accounts, but our bills were kind of combined. And so he felt pressure, I felt pressure. And the worst thing about this is that when you have a fight about money with your partner, there's nothing that you can do to fix it instantaneously. You know what I mean? There is nothing that you can do in that moment to be like, yep, okay, I'm going to do this and fix it. And by tomorrow, it'll be gone. No, when you're in thousands of dollars in debt, you literally can't do anything to fix it overnight. It has to be like a slow process. But this is so overwhelming, and this genuinely puts so much strain on your relationship. It really will. Also remember during that time, my boyfriend and I were trying to move, and at that point in time, we were both in quite a lot of debt. And when we were moving, we were trying to get rid of our stuff that we don't need, and also get some money. So we would sell our stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and my boyfriend tried to sell a guitar to my brother. And my brother bought the guitar. My brother is older than me. So when he bought the guitar from my boyfriend, he told my dad, he was like, well, I bought the guitar because I felt bad for them. Because what do you mean you don't have $5,000 in your bank account? Like, that's what my brother said. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? He didn't say this directly to us, but he said it to my dad. Like, oh my God, like I feel so bad. Like, why don't they have money in their bank account? What do you mean? They don't have savings. They don't have $5,000 in their bank account. Yes, that's the reality. Most people that are in debt do not have savings. They do not have 5,000. Not even 5,000 is nothing, you guys, by the way. 5,000 is nothing for a savings. But yes, we didn't even have that. And it was just really disheartening. And it was a little embarrassing to have my brother say that about us. And I was like, are we losing in life? Like, are we failing? Are we failures? Like, this kind of sucks. So socially, this affects you because if your friends ever want to go out and do something, now all of a sudden you feel like you can't. You feel very restricted. It really, really, really sucks, okay? And one more thing that I will mention about this is the stress of not having enough money. When you walk into a Starbucks, okay, this is how bad it was. I would walk into Starbucks and be like, okay, how much do I have? Like, I would get anxiety. I would check my bank account. Anytime I was buying something, I was like, do I have enough? And you now start to feel this kind of ball and chain that you're chained down to, because now you start to feel the pressure of what it means to not have enough money for basic purchases. Everything became stressful in my life. And again, this was not an overnight thing where I woke up and all of a sudden my life was in shambles. No, this took years. It took years for me to get to the point where everything was feeling so stressful. Everything was stressing me out. All my debt was stressing me out. My debt was affecting my relationship. It was affecting my friendships, my social group. It was affecting my own stress levels, my health, okay? Because now I'm constantly stressed out, constantly thinking about how I don't have money, constantly thinking about like, okay, yeah, yes, I have a job and I make pretty good money for what I work, but I hate my job. I really do. And so now I start to spiral and I'm like, well, why haven't I achieved anything else? Why haven't I done anything else with my life? Why did I instead choose to get myself into a bunch of debt that now I have to crawl out of? This just becomes like a whole tornado. Just like imagine like a whole tornado of thoughts and emotions. This is what this becomes. And this is what it feels like. It feels like a giant burden, okay? And when you get to this point, and I call this the peak, okay? This is where you start to realize that you need to get out of this shit. And I didn't have this realization, I would say, up until December of 2025, okay? This is where I really felt like, okay, I need to get my shit together. I am so tired of this, because at that point in time, all I was doing was paying off my minimums, okay? I was paying off all the minimums on my credit cards, but when your interest rate is like 27%, it doesn't even matter that you're paying off the minimums, because it doesn't do anything, okay? Like, you need to dump a bunch of money into your credit cards in order to make any sort of impact in your balance. And 7 different cards, can you guys imagine 7 different credit cards with high balances? Okay, so now I need to pay all this off. This is a lot. Okay, this is a lot. I had about $20,000 in credit card debt in total, which, you know, it's not the worst. Okay, people definitely have more, but that's a lot. Like $20,000 that you have to pay back. Who has $20,000 to pay back like that? Like, oh my God, you guys. Not to mention that it pissed me off that I was paying off the minimums, but it wasn't doing anything. It just really pissed me off so much that I'm paying these minimums, but it didn't even matter because the interest rate is so high and these banks are profiting off of me. And I think this was my turning point. I think this is when it started to really aggravate me. And I started to use this as a form of motivation to pay off my debt. During that same time, in December of 2025, I started to watch Financial Audit by Caleb Hammer, and something just clicked for me. There's like certain people in your life that you will meet, or people that you will watch online on YouTube. People can say a certain thing and something clicks. And I was watching Financial Audit and I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. If he got himself out of debt, I can get myself out of debt. And I was watching all these people come onto his show and talk about their debt, their experience, what they're doing. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to live like this. Like, I really don't want to live like this. And I will say that that was a really inspirational thing for me. So thanks to Caleb. Thank you. You have helped me start my getting out of debt journey. Just literally made me realize that debt quite literally steals your freedom. You can't relax fully. You can't just take time off work. You can't just go on vacation. You can't quit your job. I couldn't just take days off work just because I felt like it. No, like it felt like I was chained down to working. It felt like I had to keep going back to work because I have to pay for all these bills all the time. And I was getting so sick of it. And also at the same time, I was trying to keep up a certain lifestyle, you know what I mean? And so that's what makes it really hard, is when you get used to a certain type of lifestyle. Like, I'm a girl, right? So I love to buy makeup. Like, I buy the expensive makeup because I like how it sits on my skin. I like that it lasts long, you know, clothes, hair products, all of that, super expensive. And so I'm trying to maintain a certain type of lifestyle while having all this debt. And it's just a lot. It's really hard. So I want to talk about what I have done thus far in my debt journey. So I started to pay off my debt in January. And what I really had to do is calculate my debt. Okay, that was the first thing. I needed to find out how much I owe. Okay, that was my very first thing that I had to find out. And my therapist actually recommended that I just go on ChatGPT and I just type in all the credit cards I have, how much I owe, what my interest rate is on all the credit cards. And ChatGPT could tell me a course of action that I could take to pay off all my debt. And I could do it in a certain amount of time, whatever I wanted. And I was like, you know what? I've never thought of that. I always use ChatGPT, and for some reason, I never thought to use it for my debt or for money. And so that was the first time I actually figured out how much I owe. And I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I told ChatGPT all my information, and ChatGPT gave me some information on how I can pay off my debt or what is the best course of action to take. And so this takes a lot of personal planning, first of all. Okay, you need need to face the numbers, for one, know how much you owe, but for second, you need to figure out how you want to do this, because there's different methods of paying off debt. Some people like to use the snowball effect. So they take their lowest amount credit card that they owe on, and then they pay that off first. And once they pay that off, because it was a small amount, they feel more encouraged and they move on to their bigger cards. For me, I did not do that. I actually started off by paying off my most monstrous card, which is the Discover card. I owed about $5,500 on it, which honestly is not that bad. But with the interest rate, yes, it is bad. Yes, it is bad. And so I started to attack that one first, because I knew deep down, I was like, you know what? If I can pay this bitch off, like, it would make me so happy. And it would genuinely motivate me to pay off all my other cards, because this is my highest balance card. So if I can attack this monster, I can attack any other card. I realized that I need to cut out certain habits and cut out certain expenses. Like I said, you guys, I loved going out, okay? That's like my number one spender, is getting food and drinks and going out to different restaurants and bars and do all the fun hoopla stuff, which I love doing, but I had to cut it out. Okay, and I had to accept the reality of a boring life for a little bit, because it's a short-term sacrifice for long-term success that I wanted to have. And looking back, I used to have a mindset that like, oh, but like, you only live once and I'm only young right now, so I should be able to enjoy myself and treat myself, because like I can't get this time back. And yes, there is truth to that, but when you're in thousands of dollars worth of debt, it's just not worth it. It's not even worth to live your life, because you constantly feel pressure. You constantly feel stressed out. It doesn't even matter if you try to go out and spend money. Like when I was going out and spending money when I was in a bunch of credit card debt, like it did not feel good. I did not feel good about going out and spending that money. Like I still, like there was a part of me that was like stressed out consistently all the time. So to accept that temporary boring life is something that I'm going through right now. I'm in that boring process of trying to minimize my spendings. And does that mean I never go out anymore? No. Okay, I still go out, but way like significantly less than I used to, and that has been a huge help. I ended up paying off my Discover card, you guys. Yay! I'm on to the next. I'm almost done paying off my second highest credit card, and so I'm really excited about that. I'm in the process of that right now. Is this process fun? No, okay? It's not. It sucks, okay? It sucks because I want to go and I want to spend money and I don't want to work. I want to give up all my shifts and I want to take time off and I want to go on vacation. I want to do X, Y, Z. It really sucks, but it's about what you want in the future. I have been living under credit card debt and pressure for so long that to me, I just don't want to do that anymore. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm tired of it, okay? I'm tired of the way that it has ruined my life in so many ways. I want to go back to a point where I have very minimal debt at the very least. Like that's what I'm aiming for, just like a little bit, you know? And at this point, I have learned some skills as to how to use my credit cards correctly. Okay, now I will say, after watching Financial Audit, I will say one thing. I don't think I'm a credit card person. I'm really not. I think I misuse them a lot. I don't think I can really keep track of every single penny that I spend, which I'm working on right now. But one thing that you need to do when you're paying off your debt is you need to change your behaviors. And this is the most important part, okay? And this is something that people really talk about a lot, because let's say, you know, like people say like, oh, I filed for bankruptcy, and then they, you know, get themselves into a bunch of debt again, and then they have to go through bankruptcy again. It's like, you need to learn your lesson, okay? Especially when you're paying off debt, if you're doing bankruptcy, whatever, you need to learn the first time, be like, okay, I never want to go through this again. And you really need to change who you are, and you need to change your habits, and you need to change your entire mindset around money, and you need to learn to trust yourself again and kind of become like a new version of yourself. It's actually a little spiritual if you think about it. Like, it shapes you to be a completely different person. But I think this is so important when you're paying off your debt, because if you pay off your debt and you still continue to do the same habits, you're going to get yourself into the same exact shithole. You literally need to change your entire mindset and your lifestyle and everything that has to do with money. So one thing that I've personally learned for myself is that, like I said, I'm not a credit card person. I don't want to use my credit cards like that. Okay, I want to have my credit cards. I have them. I have 7 cards. Okay, Those are for emergencies. Those are for like maybe like if I have like a TV subscription or something and I could just put it on auto pay every month, right? I'm gonna go buy like a small candy bar with one of my credit cards and that's it. Because if you don't use your credit cards, your bank is gonna give you a fee and they're gonna be like, why aren't you using the card, right? So it's good. I think credit cards are good. I think credit cards can be used as a tool to build credit and do all that, right? You wanna buy a car, a house, like you need nice credit. I think credit cards can be really, really great, but so many people like me have misused them, okay? And it really sucks. It's unfortunate. Nobody really teaches you about this stuff, okay? Nobody really taught me this in school, right? And I'm not, by the way, like I just want to say, I am not trying to pay myself out to be a victim right now. Be like, nobody taught me. Like, oh my God, like, yeah, part of it's my fault because I never really cared to learn about it, but I really wish somebody would have told me the type of damage that this causes. So in the process of paying off my credit card debt, it definitely gave me a boost of confidence. Definitely, like I paid off my highest balance card and I was like, huh, that's right. I did that. If I can do that, I can do anything. It literally gives you like a fresh sense of confidence, and it's also motivating me to pay off the rest on my cards. You guys, I'm still in my journey of paying off all the debt that I have, but once I do, and I'm really excited about it, it should take only a few months if I continue on. I never want to do this again. I never want to get myself into the same shithole. It is just not worth it. It is just not worth it to carry around a bunch of debt, high balances. It's not. I want to go. I want to enjoy life. And honestly, I want to live my life off of cash as much as possible. Like if I don't have it in cash, I can't spend it. Point blank period. Doesn't fucking matter. Also, one more thing that I am still in the process of learning is budgeting. I think budgeting is something that I'm gonna get into in the next few months once I come close to paying off all my debt, because then I really wanna know how to manage all my money. Right now, I'm just kind of pouring all the money I make into my credit card, so I'm not really budgeting too much. But definitely learning about budgeting is something that I really wanna do, and it's something that I really wanna implement, so I know what's going on, because I cannot believe that I've spent most of my life so far not knowing what the fuck is going on my credit card accounts and my bank account, how much I'm making, what I'm spending it on, what my highest spendings are. Like I had no idea at all. That is just wild to me looking back. Absolutely wild. But you guys, I just want to say that if I'm doing it, absolutely you can do it. Get yourself out of that debt. It really is. It puts such a strain on you. It's such a huge stressor. It's something that I wouldn't wish on anybody. It is so hard to live. It just turns you into a bitter person, okay? If you let it, okay, it can turn you into such a bitter person, into such a weak person, and it's just absolutely awful. So if you can get yourself out of debt, do everything that you can in your power to get yourself out of debt, okay? Because a lot of the spendings that we make, they're bullshit spendings, okay? And this is one thing that I talked about in my video that I made about money a few months ago, was that you need to decipher like what you need and what you want. There's a really big difference. So a lot of the times when I go to the store now, I catch myself in these like, oh, I want this. But then I'm like, stop. Like, do I need this? And that's really the real question that I need to be asking myself. And when you're in a bunch of debt, that's the question that you need to ask yourself constantly. Do you need that? Is that something that is necessary for survival? And if not, think twice about whether you want to buy it or not. Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far in the video, I love you. Subscribe to my channel. On here I talk about my life realizations and habits and anxiety and all that fun stuff. So love you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.